government. Now, when we go to government, we are telling them about a private sector issue. We're not telling them about a telecommunication issue. So the numbers now start talking. So chances are that, as I said, because we are really in a democratic dispensation, the governments will be able to listen because we are talking about huge numbers. PSFU, we are proud that because of you, our members, we count about 2.5 million business establishments that are within our network. So we are really engaged very well to ensure that we are able to have very good policies to support the way you do your business. Now, so the associations, the Ugandans, the number of associations that are actually available in Uganda, from our count and from the records available, we know that there are 2,900 business associations in Uganda. That's a big number, you know. But there are also about 12,000 savings and cooperative organizations. That is also a network, if you are looking at networks that are from a business perspective. So these networks are able to provide that framework, that route through which we can engage effectively on policy, and we are able to solve a number of issues in the business environment. Now, the second reason why I think anybody should care about building a relationship, especially an industry-based relationship, is for opportunities. Really, opportunities is the second thing. You know, where are you ever going to find people you are going to market your product to on closely, you know? Now, it is these networks that are enablers, these industry associations, these industry relationships that can enable us to find and take advantage of these opportunities. I've talked about a market opportunity. Everybody, I believe everybody in this room, on this call, majority of us, one of the things that keeps us awake at night is, where do I make my next sale? How do I expand my markets? You know, it is so important. So the opportunities of marketing in networks, in industry associations are available. There are financing opportunities too, you know, financing opportunities. Within the network, there might be somebody who is available to offer you financing opportunities or to link you to somebody else who can provide that financing. Then also knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot of knowledge within industry associations. Very many, a lot of knowledge there. There is a lot of research that goes around that has been done in the industries. The members or the individuals within all of those networks have got insights that you can share, you know. So if you are part of that network, you are able to gain, to understand the knowledge that you can use. I'll give you a good example. I've told you already that, okay, there are about 2,900 associations in Uganda. PSFU has about 316. It's not a very big percentage, but those that matter are with us. Now, if you look at the kind of information that is generated from these networks, right? And you look at how we consolidate and send it out to you who are within our networks to look at what is somebody talking about from a policy perspective in government. What opportunities are available here and there, you know? What is coming up, you know? For example, we are doing a lot today in terms of finding markets through having business forums. You know, we've been in, we are moving strongly through Africa, you know. We've been to Congo, to Kenya, Tanzania, just recently South Africa, Dubai, you know, Algeria, and several places. What we're trying to do is none other than finding information which we share with you so that you are able to be able to take advantage of that information to do better relationship. So as your business, I expect you very much to try to be within networks so that you can benefit from all of this. Don't be a loner, because if you're a loner, you're really missing a lot. I'll give you one of the regrets, one of the biggest regrets I have as a person, having a run business for some time, is that I took too long to engage and associate with others. There are certain problems that you're trying to struggle with when somebody else has already gone through it and has got the solution. You are trying to find some markets of some sort. Somebody's already aware. Somebody's waiting to buy from you, you know? So when we associate at industry level, we definitely are going to take a lot of opportunities from them. But then all of this sounds so nice. All of it sounds so good. You know, it looks like it is doable. You know, it's just about finding an organization or an association for which shares your common interest. You know, and we think it is something that we can just execute just like that. It is not as straightforward as that, but it is one of the easiest things that you can do. So in now my next series, or my next segment, I'm going to talk about how to effectively create networks that will work for you, that will give you and answer the so many questions that you have on your mind, that respond to your objectives. How do I make the next deal? How do I have been a member of this organization, this association, this club for so long? I've been meeting all these people that matter, you know, but I've not got the business out of these things. You know, the other day I met so and so. I know he's doing such and such, but he's not even doing this, even the business, you know. Why are they not giving you business? So allow me to just share just one slide, and it will be the one that I'll use to talk about how to create it. Okay. I hope everybody is able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, thank you very much. So I thought this is going to be the crux, definitely, of our engagement here, because in the end, we network to get something. So how do you create those effective strategies? So there is a 5-step process through which you really create effective network strategies. And I can tell you, if you do it very well, you definitely are going to benefit from it. Just ask yourself, why should people be in all these networks if they are not benefiting from them? Now, if you're not benefiting from them, then there's something that you need, or we need to unlock today. So first of all, as you plan your network strategies, first set your objectives. Why do I want to network? Why do I want to associate with the people at all? And which type of people should I associate with? You know, for example, if I'm a consultant, you know, if I'm a consultant, what kind of networks should I join? Should I be involved in? You know, now you first of all, now you now set your objective and say, you understand yourself. I'm a management consultant. Why should I really go into networks? You set your objectives. If your objective is to find business, very good. Then ask yourself, who are my customers? And what networks are they involved in? Okay, where do they usually, where can I find them? So the networks, some of those networks at the industry associations, or at the umbrella organizations and apex bodies like us, you know very well that banks consume, or manufacturers consume a lot of management consultant services, you know. Am I able to join the Uganda Manufacturers Association as a management consultant? Perhaps, maybe not, because you are not a manufacturer. But you know very well that if you join PSFU, if you join your management consultants association, it is a management consultants association in Uganda, you are able, that association is a member of PSFU. And because it is a member of PSFU, it will create opportunities for you to be able to reach the manufacturers. So now you take that step. So look at others. What are the opportunities? We do have clubs that have we do have clubs that where people go. Very many clubs. The most prominent of them are Rotary clubs. You are going to find a number of people there who matter within the Rotary clubs. Target them. Be a member of the Rotary Club. You'll be able to meet a number of those people. But there are also other places where people meet. Let me give you a very good example. Like, for instance, our country, of course, we have all this strong cultural and religious, kind of orientation. Now, look in your community, maybe in your church community. There are so many groups in there where you can find so many people. And when you join, you are able to see them. So find those networks, join them. Target those people who you think can give you the business. But be careful about it, ladies and gentlemen, as you do it. Now, when you get there, all right, much as your business, your objective was to expand your markets, was to find that particular customer, and you've now found the guy who has just advised a call, has advertised for a consultant service, and he's the one who matters, and you have found him or her in a church kind of organization where you are a member. Be careful. Don't just jump into their face and you say, I saw you advertising this. Can I have this business? No, that is not the way to do it. The second, what you have to do, first of all, is to try to build trust with these people who matter. You are in this association, in this organization. Give them confidence. One of the easiest ways of giving confidence to these people is to offer something yourself. For instance, that organization could be working on a particular project, and you have certain skills that can be used. For instance, they're constructing their church, You are there, you have some connections, you can contact some people, you can help in for instance, fundraising. Do something there, be part of it. Let them say, oh, this guy also has done something, and they trust you. Build that trust. Now, when you build that trust in the eyes of that particular person you are targeting, it means when you go to talk to him, they're not just seeing you as another member of our church. No, they're seeing you as a member of our church, somebody who can also add value to some of the things that they're doing. You've built that particular trust. There's so many other ways through which you can build trust, but I'm telling you, offering something is one of them. Offering free time is one of them, Then the next step, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call introduction. I'm not talking about Kwanjula, no, in that sense. I'm talking about Kwanjula from a perspective of getting to be introduced by somebody who knows that person and they trust them. For you, you're struggling with a particular executive because you have met them in your Rotary Club, you have met them as in the PSFU, you have met them and you have exchanged cards and talked about your things and so on and so forth. That is the only relationship that you have with them. But there is somebody who knows this guy as in my secondary school, we used to call them bedmates when we were sleeping on deckers, in those double deckers. Somebody could have been sleeping on the lower bed, and for you, you're sleeping on the upper bed. Or they're sleeping on the upper bed, and for you are on the lower bed. And for instance, if you are the primary or S1, this is the guy who is to you to urinate at night. So you know them as my bedmate. Who you can relate at that level. You knew them from the relationship goes far back. Or there is somebody who knows them as their son, or there is somebody who knows them as their mko, or somebody who has done something fundamental in their life. So look out for those people and let them introduce you there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, the first time I heard about this, I almost fell off my chair. I thought I knew networking, but I can tell you, if you can succeed more by getting introduced to those people who you want to help you, get introduced there. People know you. So that it is part of building that confidence. Then somebody says, "Oh, this man who has brought this man has been brought by my moko here." I think then they should be a good. It must be a good man. It must be a good person. It must be a good lady. You know, so they create and build that trust, and then from there you are able to introduce what you want. Remember what I said? Don't meet people at an event, exchange a business card, talk through what you do, you know, quickly, and then the next minute you were saying that I know this person, he can give me business. There is nothing they know about you, ladies and gentlemen. And you know very well that many people collect these business cards, but in the end, some of them don't even remember who this person was anyway. But the business cards are there, and I met them at a particular place. So go through these steps and make sure that you get to be properly introduced. And I've really focused on this for obvious reasons, because I've seen it myself. At one time, it was so interesting. I went at a function where there was I know this fellow, yes, and we were interacting. But then one of another fellow who were related in other ways made sure that he takes and introduces me to this person. This is so and so. This is what they do. This is where they stay. This is, you know. Now, so when I asked this guy exactly, I knew this person already. He says, no, yes, they know you, but by me introducing you, I'm adding to the confidence that the other person should have you. You know? So then, if there is something, they are better able to look back and say, okay, it is this person. It is unfortunate. This is how the world works, ladies and gentlemen. You really have to do it. And it will help you very much in the way you network and in the way in driving your objectives. Now, after you've been introduced, everything's nice and things like that. You know, you have talked about what is available, what you do. Please follow through. Don't wait and say, but you know that man is even a minister, you know, went at his house. And, I was introduced, we're just three of us in there. I left he knows me, you know, sometimes even sends me WhatsApp. Why isn't he sending me business? Why isn't he, you know? Please don't take it for granted. Follow through yourself. Be connected, remain in contact, tell them, remind them. Then when opportunities open, they are going to be able to open these opportunities or let you know about them, and they will be able to give you those opportunities. That is so important. Now, after that, the next thing in your effective toolbox, you know, you have to really measure and learn. Remember, you started by setting up your objectives, you associated, you have built trust, you've been introduced, you have followed through, try to measure, okay? So, okay, a year has passed ever since I started on this journey. What has come through because of these networks, because of what I've done? Look at it. Try to learn what has worked, what has not worked, what can you change, and keep on ensuring that you refresh and listening to people who can help you continually refine your networking strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought these 30 minutes of the presentation will be able to empower you, to introduce you to this area called networking. And when you do it the way we have actually mentioned, definitely, I'm very sure that you'll be able to get results out of it. You'll see a change, you'll see change in terms of what you get from the networking. And finally, I think Belinda mentioned it very clearly as we started. All of you know very well that our networks is actually our network.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for listening to me.
Yes.
Over to you, Belinda. I'm happy to respond to any matters that you might want me to clarify or shed more light on. I thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. Thank you so much, Francis, for that presentation. Yes, we're talking about relationships. I like the fact that you've been very diverse with your examples. I like the social networking opportunities that you mentioned, like Rotary. Yes, Rotary is a great place for us because it's a business, it's an organization of business people. It's a great place for one to build their networks. But Francis, did you know that even your school alumni is a great network?
Yes, certainly. I didn't get into the examples. I just used the basic because I know there are many of these. School network is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
We know very well.
I've just been thinking about the networks where I have benefited the most. For me, it has been my S1 class and basically the whole my school network, but then also my church network. There are so many opportunities. Yes, they work absolutely well. Yeah. Okay, so we have it's a few minutes, 20 minutes to 10, and we have about 50 minutes to ask Francis some questions about building relationships, building networks. I like the building of trust that you talked about. If I come and I introduce Francis to my friends, then I have broken so many barriers. I've broken so many barriers. They will treat Francis like me, that they would treat me. That is the magic of networks. So when we meet people, we have to be very intentional about introducing them to people we think will help them get to the next level. All right, so it is the Business Recovery Series with Enterprise Uganda. We are here every Thursday. Today is the 16th of March, 2023. It's cloudy in Kampala. I was stuck in traffic for such a long time, but I am finally here. I hope you're having a great morning. The week is about to come to an end, and we have opportunities to make friends. We'll want to welcome everybody who joined in. A special shouts out to Jude Lumala, who is the administrator on one of the networking groups that I'm on. It's a group of business people. Very good network there. We are doing very magical things, and we have some people try to introduce themselves in the chat as Francis was doing the presentation. Florence Kakande of Equator Commercial Farming and Processing. They produce instant foods for specific categories, including babies, pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. I just learned this word. Geriatrics. I'm learning how to pronounce it. Old people, the elderly, and the entire family. Now, we have time to ask some questions. Harriet Mpire, you're saying, Francis, under building trust by offering something, do you have any other examples of what we can offer? Okay, Harriet will be able to answer that. So let's have your questions. We are here with Francis for another 40 minutes. And you can put up your hand if you have a question. Francis will be able to answer it, or you can type your question in the chat. I think I'll go first. Francis, there's another thing that I noticed.
Yes.
You know, most of us have friends, but our friends have not met our children. It is such a sad affair that we have friends that we do business with, that we do what we call these big things. You know, you're meeting them for deals and business opportunities, but your children don't know each other. Now, some of us have grown up with opportunities from our parents' friends because they treat us as their own children. Can you talk about that? It is an area where most of us are lacking, I think, because the way we relate nowadays, we are not very social animals. And you can find that some people are very, very close, but their parents, their children don't know each other. Can you talk about that, Francis?
Yeah, thanks very much, Belinda. I think it is one thing that affects most of us, especially people who very much or working or engaged in maybe professional services, corporate type, with a big dose of the British kind of culture. So many times we relate at professional level only, you know. We relate at professional level. I'm an accountant, you're an accountant, you know. We are friends, you know. As accountants who have met, we are friends. That's where it ends. So we don't have anything personal, any personal touch beyond that, you know. So usually, let me tell you, what happens is that people only know you from a professional perspective. There is no personal relationship at all. So meaning that if the professional relationship is broken, then also that it will end there. But just imagine if you created a personal relationship with your acquaintances, your professional colleagues, where, as Belinda said, people know your wife or your husband, your spouse, people know your children, the schools they go to, their interests, you know, and you also find time every so often to have people meet and bond. So you can see that you have put if you are at that level, you have put things at another level. Now, if somebody is considering something in their professional life which can benefit people like you, who will turn up in their minds first? Is it really people they don't know or people they know? So this helps a lot. I'll give you another thing that also happens as okay, somebody asked about, I didn't get the name. What other thing can you offer to give confidence? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, in our networks, do something that may not cost you so much. There are so many things that happen there. Use your skills. You can do a knowledge sharing in your organization, in your association. For instance, if it is a church-based organization, you can say, if you are a finance person like myself, you can have and propose that, okay, we've done everything spiritual, all right? Let's talk about also something that is about commerce, about the life we live on this world. You can give, for instance, a financial literacy lecture in that community, that group of yours. I think people, when they listen to it, people pick some things, sometimes assume that everybody is aware of everything. But there are people who can pick some things and they like what you have presented to them, and they take it as something of value. So what that does is that it creates that form of trust. The other one that my colleague asked about is, besides that, are there other things that you can do? I can share my example. In some of the clubs and in some of the associations where we participate, there are things that happen to people in their personal lives, you know. Somebody might be preparing a social function, a wedding, you know, a party, and at worst, something can happen like a bereavement. Somebody loses a child, or loses a parent, or loses a sister, or loses. These are moments you can take advantage of, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to take money if you don't have it. If you have it, it's okay. After all, one of my favorite quotes is from the late Archbishop Nkoyoyo. Many of you might know, who usually says, and I'll say it in Uganda, it makes a lot of sense from there. But I had also the current Archbishop saying it. That giving something little is much better than all these lots and lots of sympathies, you know. Now, take these opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, and personally, I use them very well. Participate in a burial, you know, and make sure that the bereaved you're targeting has seen you there and say, oh, this guy is here, you know. Do things that people go beyond the professional kind of engagement that you have. Those are very good opportunities you can use in Uganda. And people don't forget about them. Put in your time, be with them. These help build trust. You can think about so many things you can do, you know, to ensure that that trust is built. Get closer to their children and help out. You know, we take children to school. We go to where our children go for visitations and stuff like that. These are very good opportunities. If my son is going to school A, and I know a standing colleague or a big man, their children goes to that same school. If I go to visit my child and I somehow can identify or know the child of my colleague or the person I'm targeting, I could pass by and talk to the child, you know, offer some advice or even some pocket money. The child will tell their parent, oh, uncle so-and-so, or so-and-so. I mean, that creates that sort of bond. And those bonds, in the end up helping your networking activities and get you the business that you're looking at. Thank you.
Okay, great. So what I hear you saying, Francis, is that we are first social beings before we become professional. And our social networks are really critical. And also, if I can summarize what you just said, if you have built such a great network, I think it's only wise that you let your children benefit. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for such great networks to end with you. Your children should be able to benefit as well. Yeah, so we are still here with Francis and we are taking your questions. It's we have another about 30 minutes. Oh, Jude Lomala has a question here. What are the steps to take when a trusted professional connection breaches confidentiality or misuses sensitive information? Francis, did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you have to say about that?
So the good thing that the colleague talked about, a trusted acquaint or professional colleague breaches confidentiality and publicizes the sensitive information. How do you deal with such a situation? You know, now one of the things is, are you able? First of all, how do you protect yourself from ensuring that some of this information is not just shared just like that? Yes, you have built the trust, but some of the confidential information be actually shared with this kind of everybody you meet in a network, much as you really trust them. So first of all, assess that and make sure that you are not able, or you don't share every little bit of information about your business and the information that can actually undermine your competitiveness or opportunities that you have in the market. But if that happens, I think, in my view, the first thing you do is to really get down to those people and tell them, you really let me down. I trusted you, but look what you have done. You know, that is one. The second thing, what damage is it? What can you do some damage control? Where has this information gone? You know, how do you make sure that the people who have received it don't misuse it or continue spreading it to undermine you? You know, and then finally, try to see how you gain confidence of people who might have received that information from that trusted confidant. You know, I'm just talking if it was something that was negative. You know, it's not the right thing to say, but people say that, oh, somebody, all of us, or not all of us, but some people might have some skeleton. For instance, there are certain dark secrets that might have happened somewhere in high school, or when you're starting out work, you're finding your feet in the employment world, you know, all in the business world, and you did something that was not so ethical. Now, 20 years down the road, you are really this big time executive, everybody respects you, you know, but now some of your acquaintances end up releasing this information. So to deal with it, I suggest that you can consider those three things, as I mentioned. Confront the person, damage control, then strategies for
Yes, we could be having obstacles that stop us from networking. Yeah, there are some of us whose personalities are closed in, and you know, we prefer to stay indoors and keep to ourselves. But if you are a business person, it's not a very wise thing to do. So I'll ask you to talk about the obstacles that stop us from growing great networks. We have another question here from Joshua Kisubika. How do you measure these effective relationship strategies? Is there an approved matrix to quantify relationships you can share? Oh my gosh. Now, okay, matrices have moved to relationships. Over to you, Francis. Is there a matrix?
Okay. Okay. First of all, regarding obstacles, I think one of the obstacles that you raised is personality. I think personality is a major obstacle to building our networks. But I'm very well aware that there are many self-help and opportunities to get trained on how to deal with your personality type, to make sure that that personality does not actually become an inhibition or a hindrance to doing your networking work. So, like if you're really introverted, you are very, very comfortable and happy being alone and things like that. Yes, as long as you are aware of this, then it is possible for you to understand that, yes, I must beat this club for reason A, B, C, D. So you try to mitigate your personal challenges to make sure that you are able to utilize the opportunities that are actually available, irrespective of your personality type. That is one. The second thing that could be an obstacle is you might say, this thing costs money. You know, for me to be a member of this association, they want membership fees. They are going to have this networking event. I'll need time, I'll need money, but I don't have all of that. Or I don't want, it will be additional expenditure, it will be additional demand of my time. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, yes, identify that, but pick out your objective and ask yourself, what would be the other easiest way of getting to these particular networks so that they can benefit you? They can link you up to things that that are important. Now, if I would believe that if you are able to answer those particular questions, you will be able to comfortably say, okay, I'll take this portion of my revenue to be part of these networks, because there is going to be Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and I've seen it here in PSFU practically. You know, our institution is well positioned in a way, a bit privileged, to reach so many high places in the country where things happen, where things matter. You know, I've seen with my own eyes meetings that we have organized, we have prepared, and people who are very good at taking advantage of these engagements to slot in staff that is very personal to their businesses. And many times people respond to these things. You know, I remember on around 4 or 5 occasions, I've been in meetings with the ministers, especially the Minister of Finance, where a person comes up and says, "Oh, Honorable Minister, I've not been paid for 8 months. I supplied this and this." Then he says, "Are you sure?" Because now he's in a group, he feels a little bit embarrassed. "Give me your details, my personal assistant. Take those details." And I've seen people coming back and saying, "We were finally paid." You know, I've seen people arguing for private road projects. You know, I have my factory here in this place. We don't have a road. The local government does not care. They don't. Then the big man says, "Let that be handled next week," and it's handled. You know, so we get out much more from networks than actually what we put in. So don't be inhibited by anything about to stop you from benefiting from that. Work on your objectives and then position yourselves appropriately. Then there is a colleague, I think Mr. Kisubika, who has said or has asked, is there a very specific matrix that can be used as to measure ourselves? I think I cannot tell you. There should be formats for these matrices that can be used, and I would encourage you very much to get acquainted to those. But for these purposes of this meeting, and I didn't prepare for an academic kind of presentation, but some of the things that are so crucial in this is when you put down your objectives, all right? You have listed them. My objectives is to expand my market share or to get business. So you could have put a number on that. How many businesses should I be looking out for? New businesses. That is one. The second one, what value? You know, so what you do in your evaluation is look at what you planned in terms of your targets and the targets you set up, and then ticking off at the end of the day what you've actually achieved. Those that you have not achieved, there are certain things along the way that you should have learned from. For instance, I could have introduced myself a need for business so quickly, okay, with somebody I've been introduced to. You know, as soon as Belinda introduces me, the next thing you know, it is me who only does this sort of thing in this country, the best quality, but you know, people don't understand this thing. So people come and talk to us like that, you know. I'm the best person in this thing, but people don't understand it. They just give business everywhere. So somebody's quarreling instead of selling it themselves. And then the other party, now, even if you have been introduced by Belinda, say, this guy or this lady, will I really be able to work very well? So you evaluate yourself and say, okay, perhaps I didn't get this. This didn't work out because of the way I introduced myself. Now, if you realize that, then ask yourself, what else do you need to do to make sure that you don't repeat that kind of thing? And the training and self-improvement is a very important thing. Go back, find out, do you have those sales skills really? You know, you've been given that opportunity with the minister, that once in a lifetime opportunity. Have you sold? Have you sold effectively? If you don't have those skills, go back, get the necessary knowledge. Then next time you can be able to do it better. Over to you, Belinda.
Okay. So as we come to the end of our series this morning, Francis, you are going to share with us some of the networking opportunities available for business people at Private Sector Foundation, and you will also let us know how we can join those networks. I don't know if there is a criteria that needs to be followed. I don't know how many types of networks you have there, but can you please share with us what happens at PSFU as far as growing networks is concerned?
Yeah, thank you very much, Belinda. So PSFU, as I said, is a very big network of business people doing business in Uganda. So alone, the word PSFU is itself a network. So our network starts with the associations that are our members, then comes down or comes up to us here at Private Sector Foundation Uganda. So the networks we have are through members, are through our own activities that we do, which gives you a lot of opportunities for you to connect with others. So I'll advise you like this. First of all, as I said, we do have about 311 business associations. Now, every industry has an association in Uganda, at least. For instance, I know in agriculture, we have about 63 associations. So you can always find where you can fit into those networks in the associations. Now, those associations will finally link you to Private Sector Foundation. Now, if you are creating your own network, your own association, that is a good thing. So you are eligible to come to Private Sector Foundation and become a member. Because to be a member at Private Sector, this is what is required. One, you must be a business membership organization. Now, it means that you bring together people, industry players, but who are focusing on business, and you're a member association or organization. So here we are talking about associations. We are talking about cooperative groups. So those are the ones that can be members of PSFU from that angle of associations. Now, what you require is that when you register this association and you have operated for a year or even less, you are free to come to us as PSFU and say, I'm registering this association. We are so many of us doing this kind of business, and this is what we expect to get from you. You know, so we take you the process. It's a very short process, pay the fees, and then you become a member. Now you are within the network. So what opportunities are available when you're a member of PSFU as an association? The first thing, it is access to information. Ladies and gentlemen, information is power. There is a lot of information that comes from here, which empowers and enables you to do your businesses better. We have information on the economic environment. We have information on very specific things that help you in doing business. You know, so when you're a member, you benefit from that. The second thing that you benefit from that as a member is that we have several grants here that support businesses in Uganda. Now, we call this business development services. Now, business development services are all of those non-financial things that you need as a business to improve yourselves. So you want your skills to be improved. You know, for instance, I was just talking about if you feel you have some gaps in your ability to sell, these are things that you can benefit from us. You want to improve your technology, we can support you. You want to brand your products, you can be supported to brand your products. So that is something that you benefit from as the third thing is beyond that. Of course, I've just mentioned like 3 of like 100 things that will support you to. the fourth one is where you are able to get some information firsthand. For instance, I've just talked about opportunities to participate in a trade and business and investment missions abroad. So because you're a member of our network, you'll get the first information that will be traveling to Congo, will be traveling to Sudan, will be traveling to South Africa. You get that information, and then you're part of the group. It helps, and I don't want to repeat what I've just said. I've seen people getting on the plane because a standing minister will be there, or a president will be there, and when they are there, people are able to engage them. And when they engage, there is much that is solved in their businesses. So those are other opportunities that we have for you if you join our networks. The fifth opportunity is in terms of promoting your product, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a member of PSFU, I've just mentioned, we have 311 associations, but under them, there are 2.5 million business establishments. So we are able to disseminate your information far and wide so that people know about you. So look at that kind of power of networks, So many people will know about your organization. They will know about your product through our particular network, and they will place orders, So we offer also that kind of opportunity as a network. But the other thing which is important is we are together as a network. We are able to deal with common business issues together. Ladies and gentlemen, we recently had so many issues that are being raised by business people on matters of taxation. If a company today is not going through an audit, it is being asked to submit this and the other. These are things that affect businesses. There are some taxes that we think as business people are an encumbrance to what we are doing. So when you come together in this network, we are able to put together all these issues, and then we can go to government and say, look, there is a problem here. And because of the power of numbers, we are able to many times influence some of these things in tax policy, all the things that the government do, which actually help you. So there are many opportunities at PSFU for you to network. Now, there is also an opportunity for individual companies for you to be a member of PSFU. Now, apart from the associations, now for the companies, you are required to be a large company. In other words, you are outside the definition of a small company, a small and medium company as defined under the SME policy, the Small and Medium Enterprise Policy of 2015. So meaning that we expect you to have assets and capital beyond 360 million annual turnover. When you put together all the things you sell in the year, your sales must be beyond 360 million, and also employment to be more than 100 people. Now, if you are that category, then you can come. If you are not below those figures, you are above, all right? You also are eligible to join PSFU's membership. But should you find that you are not at that level to come directly as a member, then we have so many of our subsector associations where we can refer you to go and join your membership from there. You will still be served as well as when you are directly a member of PSFU. And this is what we are actually seeing. And many of our services today, we request you to let us know whether you belong to some association or not. Being a member of an association is so helpful to doing business, as we have discussed today. And we take it very seriously as PSFU because it is important for us to do business. This is not what we encourage you to do. I've asked you if you form an association, we would like to see your objectives to be furthering the business environment, helping everybody to benefit in your industry. We don't encourage you to form an association and then you start fixing and manipulating the markets. We are free market believer as PSFU. So we don't expect an association to be formed and then its primary objective is to manipulate markets. Like recently, we had some people setting up associations. So we have the, I've remembered the name. We have now determined that every musician has a price, this kind of price. And all of them have connived together and they said, this is the price. No, there you are manipulating the market, and the association is not meant to be doing that. It is meant to make doing your business better. Then each of you can approach or can have a price for those musicians. If it comes out to be the same, no problem. But don't sit in a room and then start fixing prices. That's not what associations are for. Thank you very much, Belinda.
All right. Thank you so much, Francis. I am hoping that by now, most of us have decided if we can take advantage of the networking opportunities at Private Sector Foundation, like Francis has explained to us, but then also networking opportunities elsewhere in our communities, especially the places where we go to church, where our children go to school. There are even networking opportunities regionally. Someone was telling me about the East Africa Business Forum yesterday. Okay, so I'd like to thank you so much, Francis, for sharing your knowledge this morning. We have come, I don't see any questions in the chat. Everyone is just grateful for your knowledge that you have shared this morning. And I also don't see any hands up. That means everyone seems to be happy. So I would like to thank all of you guys who are 52 today. Thank you so much for sparing your time to attend the Business Recovery Series with Enterprise Uganda this morning. And we will be back next